The Bass Rock in East Lothian lies 3 miles off North Berwick. It was said to be home to the hermit, St Baldred. He used to cross to the mainland from there, to another smaller rock, which can be seen in the mouth of Altham Bay. His story was told by the 8th century chronicler Alcuin of York, and several stories about him include the famous reproduction of his corpse. When he died in 606 on the rock, 3 local churches, Aldham, Tyningham and Linton, all vied to be able to bury his body. A quarrel ensued and went on all day. When night came, the churchmen fell asleep, and when they woke up, they found 3 identical bodies of Baldred. It meant that each church could bury him. On the Bass Rock itself are the remains of a chapel, which include the Saint's Cell. There is also a 12th century church dedicated to St Baldred at Tyningham. The church at Whitekirk was supposedly founded by St Baldred. The village itself was once known as Fair Now. In 1294, Edward I of England defeated the Scots near Dunbar, and many of the army fled to the castle there. Rather than surrendering, Black Agnes, the Countess of Dunbar, escaped on a boat during the night, hoping to land in Fife. However, due to an injury she got while boarding, she stopped at the shore nearest to Fair Now. She prayed in the local church, and while there, a hermit came in and spoke to her. He said that if she had faith to drink of the holy well, she would no longer suffer from the pain. She did so, and no sooner had she finished, when she recovered completely, the bruises disappearing quickly. It was due to this miracle that she built the chapel. It was said that in 1355, English sailors spoiled the shrine there and snatched a ring from the Virgin Mary, breaking the statue's finger off. But then a crucifix fell from above and killed the thief. Black Agnes's holy well has never been found. The Bass Rock originally belonged to Sir Robert Lauder and belonged to the Lauder family for over 350 years, before it was sold for £400 to Sir Andrew Ramsay of Abbots Hall and the Provost of Edinburgh. He sold it shortly afterwards for £4,000 to Lord Lauderdale, who bought it on behalf of Charles II in 1671. A castle was built on the Bass Rock, although when exactly is unknown, but the first reference to it was in the 15th century, when in 1406 Robert III sent his son there for safety, James, later James I. The castle grew over the centuries, and by the 17th century included a curtain wall, an enclosed terrace and round towers. The first prisoner of the Bass Rock was Walter Stewart, the Earl of Athol, and James I's cousin. He was held there in 1424 for over a year, before he was executed for treason. 4 years later, 14-year-old Neil Vass Mackay was imprisoned there to ensure his father, Angus Dhu Mackay of Strathnaver, and his clansmen behaved themselves when Mackay was freed. He'd been imprisoned along with 40 clan chiefs in order to tame the Highlands and ensure fealty from the Lord of the Isles, as his mother was the daughter of MacDonald of the Isles. Held there until 1437, he escaped following the murder of James I at Perth. He went on to be 8th clan chief of the Mackays, But the unjust incarceration became immortalised by the blind piper, Ian Dalrymple, who penned the pibroch. During the rough wooing in the mid-16th century, when Edward VI was seen as a suitable match for Mary Queen of Scots, the English tried to capture the rock. 10 years later, Mary installed a garrison of 100 men on it to ensure its safety and Scottish control of the Forth. The rock was in the hands of Sir Patrick Hepburn in the mid-17th century during the Civil War, and English supply ships heading to Leith were bombarded from it until the garrison was forced to surrender in April 1652. Many prisoners sent to the rock were Covenanters, and between 1672 and 1688, over 400 were held in its dungeons. John Blackadder, a Covenanter, died on the Bash Rock in 1686. Its other famous prisoner was the prophet Pedin. His infamy grew due to the fact he wore a mask and a wig to disguise his true identity. In 1673, he was captured and sent there for 4 years. During the first Jacobite uprising of 1688–92, 4 prisoners were held in its dungeons. Lieutenant Middleton, Lieutenant Haliburton, and Ensigns Roy and Dunbar languished there for a time. On 16th June 1691, Cole was being delivered, but the 50-strong garrison was actually on the mainland, along with the castle governor. The Jacobites saw their chance. They overpowered the remaining guards and locked the prison gates. Those outside the gates were forced to return to the mainland and raised the alarm. Another group of 4 Jacobites managed to secure the boat full of provisions, including brandy, to take across to their comrades, meaning they were ready to hold out for some time. Government troops were sent down the coast, and others patrolled round the rock to stop sympathisers increasing their number or landing further provisions. That, however, proved nearly impossible. Even the French heard about it and sent a few ships across to support their cause. The government brought in warships, but they proved ineffective, as the cannon couldn't pivot high enough to do any damage to the prison or its walls. In the end, they held the Bash Rock for 3 years, until a government vessel intercepted a ship. Lieutenant Middleton negotiated, and an agreement was met with the Jacobites gaining a full pardon. The prison remained in use for another 7 years, but was demolished at the turn of the 18th century. The rock was then sold by the Crown to Sir Hugh Dalrymple, Lord President of the Court of Session and first Baron of North Berwick, in 1706, and his descendants still own it. He rented it out to tenants, usually an innkeeper at Canty Bay opposite the rock, who earned money by fishing, keeping the Bash Rock sheep, which became a delicacy in the 18th century, and killing young seabirds and collecting eggs. This continued until World War I, when Mr. Easton, a fishmonger from North Berwick, became its last tenant. A lighthouse was built within the former castle enclosure in 1902, with the first light shown on 1st November, but became fully operational in 1903. It was automated in 1988. Today, the rock is home to 30 to 40,000 breeding pairs of gannets. They have been going there since 1792. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.